unmuted. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the UKLC. We're getting ready to go into our second game of the day. This is Lucent versus London. Yeah, we had the new bot lane for Lucent, Billy Bonker, Willy Wonka, come out, formerly known as Vayne God, and I'm not sure who Willy Wonka formerly was.
My brain's telling me Sujin, but I know that's also a player on their roster that played top, so
I don't know. But anyway, it wasn't a great start for them. I think that's probably the best way to look at it. They didn't have a particularly great start, and so far, Lucent haven't been able to pick a single win up here at the UKLC, and the rest of the tables, you know, are pretty tight. So every game they lose, they do slip further and further behind the rest of the pack, because 7th place just above them is like 2 or 3 wins in now. Actually, yeah, I think it's 2 or 3 now. So they're pretty far ahead of them. We're going to pick some bans though. We're seeing the Lucent and the Gwen getting taken away as we start off the pick and ban phase.
Yeah, Lucent definitely need to try and pick up a win. And London, they've not looked too great. So there's not really a better opponent, I feel like, that they could potentially pick this win up off of, given current form. I think that looking at the table right now, Envision, who's actually playing against Eminem in the next game, they've not looked too terrible. I think that they've just not been able to execute fully on some of their drafts, and that's more or less the reason of their 1-2 score. I think we need more a larger sample size of games out of Envision so we can truly gauge them a little bit more.
Yeah.
But focusing on this pick and bans, you know, Rumble, Nocturne, Lee Sin, very, very common, very, very high priority picks. And Akali, by the way, happy to see that. I don't want to see it all day today, so hopefully the team's giving me that at the very least. But Gwen plus Ezreal means that we're going to see this Karma first pick. Yeah.
A lot of priority in the Karma, especially in the UKLC. It's been, I think, 100% pick ban rate now. So it's showing up constantly and consistently. London looking to get an answer out here, though, as they do pick up the Xin Zhao. Something that has been rising in priority, and it's a very fast lock-in there, as Mankey will take the Kai'Sa for London in the bot lane. And I feel like, you know, the Nautilus Leona's probably just going to rear its head as this last rotation for London. But Lucent now looking for some kind of an answer. The Varus is still open if they want to pick something up. That up. The Jinx is there as well. But the Volibear is going to be answered out here for the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, Volibear is very interesting. We don't really see a lot of teams prioritize this, as far as I'm aware, around the world.
He's done it.
He's going to do it, yeah. Vayne is a really good one-to-one answer into the Kai'Sa. So you lock in Kai'Sa versus Billy Bonker, you're going to get Vayne'd on. But we'll have to see. Now it's on London to actually pick up some point-and-click CC to make sure they can lock down the Vayne. But yeah, Volibear, very interesting champion. I think we've only seen him maybe once or twice here in the UKLC.
Yeah.
And it's just about attacking these lanes, diving, being really aggressive. And you certainly can match the early prowess of a Xin Zhao. And now for London, you've locked in the Thresh. There's no support on the other side. You don't necessarily expect Karma to go into the bottom lane when you have Thresh. So you can probably be pretty happy in banning away something like Nautilus Leona. If I'm totally honest with you, just to remove away, you know, sort of diving options to assist the Volibear. But for now, it's actually a Seraph ban towards Nice Guy Dom, which makes me think maybe they're going to follow it up with something like Twisted Fate, or even maybe Ziggs. There you go, I got there in the end.
Got there in the end. Just as a quick follow-up as well, remember Billy Bonker, formerly known as Vayne God, so is a Vayne main. This is a champion that we know that he's very capable of playing, so we're going to keep our eye on how this kind of lane matchup goes for him. The Ziggs is, there you go, banned away from the side of London. The final ban here coming in from Lucent with the Silas banned away. I'm trying to think what else is up. The Viego has been left open as well if they want to take that away. It is flexible between the mid and the top lane. The Lucian is a pick that we do see a lot from Beely as well. So it could be another ban they decide to go for, but it is just going to be the Victor as the final ban. And London, where do they want to counterpick? Do they want to counterpick for mid? Do they want to counterpick for top? That's kind of what we're asking here. And I feel like they're probably going to want to counterpick for Beely just to kind of enable him to be able to move around with no name.
Yeah, exactly. I think when you've got Xin Zhao and it's into Volibear as well, you want to have your best shot having mid lane priority. So I think blinding top, loads of options really. Yeah, I was going to just say nah, Aka's loves range champions. Could have maybe seen something like GP as well. But at the end of the day, you just need something that can be safe up on this top side. So yeah, let's go ahead and see now what Lucent are actually going to lock in, because, you know, they didn't really have their support options banned away. And this Karma now can probably go into Nar pretty happily. So Nice Guy Dom going to pull something out of his, you know, his magic hat of picks. I wonder if he'll lock in something like the Twisted Fate, actually, to try and go down towards this bottom side and help out the Vayne. But with the Ornn lock in, it makes me think Karma is more likely to go into the mid lane, though still
this is full scaling
through the bottom side. Yeah, it's full scaling. All right.
This is interesting as well, because it's something that you know, I spoke to about Goldborg yesterday. He said scaling is bait. He really isn't a big fan of scaling in the current meta. And London, to me, this looks like a comp that can pull that trigger a little bit earlier than what Lucent are working with here. And we saw Lucent make their debut with this new bot lane with Billy Bonker, Willy Wonka, and they got hard snowballed on. And I am very excited because my favorite has been locked in. LeBlanc here for Beely into Nice Guy Dom. We saw LeBlanc yesterday in the NLC as an answer to Akali, because it's actually a really nice matchup for the LeBlanc. Versus the Orianna, it's got some kill pressure. It's a strong lane. It obviously will fall off, though, compared to the likes of what an Orianna will be able to offer in the team fights, what the Vayne will be able to offer in the team fights. And I worry, but we might have a similar problem we had from the LeBlanc yesterday, which was entering into the fight might just be really hard work. You got to go through the Karma, you got to go through the Condemns, you got to go through the Bull. There's a lot of ways to get denied as you want to go in for the flank on the LeBlanc. But if it's a good laning phase from Beely, you might get that old season 3 LeBlanc where you just start one-shotting people.
Yeah, and I think when you've got an aggressive jungler like Xin Zhao, you're probably going to be looking to play this 2v2 out. Orianna, she's not the best early skirmishing jungler. Even when she has Shockwave at level 6, it's, you know, the CC plus 150, 200 damage. So it's going to be relatively easy for London to play around, I feel like, this mid 2v2 with the jungle assistance, and they can move it down to the bottom side if they want to. And I feel like that will likely be the game plan.
Absolutely. Well, we are loading through onto the Rift, and you know, I feel like London, they got the tools to play this game early, and I know I felt sounding a bit like a broken record, but it is something we do see a lot of this current meta is teams playing fast and loose early, pulling themselves ahead and taking over the game. But if Lucent do kind of stem the bleeding and hold on, once you get those kind of 2 free items onto the Vayne, 2 free items onto the Orianna, I feel like London will struggle to team fight. It's not like they get completely outscaled. Kaiser is a champion but can scale later into the game, but I don't know. I feel like Vayne Orianna.
I would actually say I feel like they would get pretty hard outscaled here. I think.
Okay.
You've got a lot of shielding and movement speed buffs for the Volibear, like for the later on. So that's actually going to sort of alleviate some of the issues there that Volibears can have as games gone. And the Ornn is obviously going to supply all of the items too. Enchanters are deceptively strong in the support role. It's just that we don't often get to see them outside of stuff like Lulu. Karma obviously does end up down here sometimes, but at the moment, whenever she is picked up, I feel like we see her more mid than anywhere else. But for now, Lucent, they're stacking up. They're expecting an invade. But London have gone for the good old classic of the, I was about to say 5-man scrummage. It actually is that, yeah.
There's all 5 members, but no one's invading from London. GFA just holding the line. And I think they're just trying to deny a potential invade. Not going to be happening, though. London weren't even thinking about that one. So just going in for the quick recalls, place some wards, and get back to your lanes if you're Lucent now.
Yeah, nothing's really worried about. And like you say, they're just going to have to stem the bleeding. They can't. It's going to be very difficult to play proactively around many of these lanes. There's a lot of mobility and just general safety nets available to London that, whilst you can technically say might be there for Lucent, if you're London, you've got more proactivity tools in the laning phase at the very least to try and make picks onto lanes. You know, whether it's direct ganks from no name on the Xin Zhao, whether it's, you know, delivering a wave, shoving in a wave, and then going into Fog of War and then waiting for someone to come and face check you.
Both junglers are going to start up on the blue buff here. So it does mean that clearing away from each other won't be contesting each other on these initial crabs, unless No Name wants to go for something a little bit kind of fruity and a little bit more experimental. Has obviously got Beely to help with his early skirmishing. So if they do want to try and contest the crab, like you said, it's something they technically would be capable of doing.
Yeah, I think both these junglers, were they starting on the same side of the map, they would definitely fisticuffs it out for a Skull Crab. I think Volibear and Xin, both junglers that really do like trying to pick up double Skull when it's available, but it's going to be about the priority realistically on the side lanes, and London should have priority out of the top side. Lucent going to find priority down here as level 2 is ticked over first by Billy Wonka and Willy Wonka. Should we try today not to?
No, I'm prepared.
Oh no,
I'm prepared.
You've been writing them down.
This is your formal warning for everyone at home. I'm prepared for chocolate jokes, and Willy Wonka gonna take himself a whole bunch of damage. Almost gets popped, but is able to survive that void stack and Nice little trade there from London, but they are still getting pretty heavily poked out from Willy Wonka out on the Karma here.
Yeah, and it looks like they're actually going to go for a cheater recall as well. They pick up a Cole, something along those lines for the Vayne. Real nice to pick up very early on. And across the map, seems like No Name actually passing down towards the bottom side.
Oh, Billy goes in. Chains connect. It's just a little bit of damage onto Nice Guy Dom. Not really got that full kill pressure.
I actually really like this from No Name. It's a pathing adaptation because he knows that the enemy bottom lane went for a cheer recall. They didn't stay bottom side to keep the pressure up. So No Name now, because of that, should be able to secure double skull. You've seen Akka's in the top side, just scouting out with the top side skull as well. So Wilhelm kind of shut out here from the Scuttle Crab access. Real nice adaptation from No Name, and double skull picked up, I think. Rightfully so.
Yeah, it can be Turkish delight with that one. As Jeppe now getting chained onto, has to go for the flash. A great hook from Jeppe though. So Willy Wonka has to flash away himself to safety. Bit of a proactive play there in the bot side, but nothing really going to come of it other than both supports burning their flashes.
Yeah. Very, very close to taking down Willy Wonka though.
Yeah, we'll give him a boost to their laning phase.
Yeah. The very sticky situation for the London support to be in as well. Just poor timing. Didn't expect Wilhelm to actually be in the river. It'd take him a while to get that full clear off as well. So, quite frankly, just wasn't expecting it. But when you had the wave in a position like this, maybe you have to, keep your wits about you. Expect the enemy jungler to be around when someone's holding a freeze.
But ultimately, they do fudge the play a little bit, so...
Okay, Jet.
Doesn't... I told you I was ready. I told you I was ready for chocolate puns, mate. Lucent, you know what you've unleashed on the UKLC, right?
I'm so mad at them, actually. Could have just taken normal names, man. Take something cool and edgy or something. Just anything, man. Like, your name is now...
Slayer 89.
Your name is now, like, Spork 6 or something. Like, just...
Spork 6.
But yeah, hopefully Jake runs out very quickly. Otherwise, this could be a
Let's get back on topic.
Yeah.
I'm not done. Anyway, back to the action. As Teleport coming in from Beely, just getting back into that mid lane. He's continuing to play pretty far up in the lane, is getting some pressure and some priority for himself. So far, No Name's not really been able to achieve too much with that. Obviously has gone for a gank, but nobody's really gone down yet. It's just been a bit of a slower pace. The pings are going down now on the Dragon as London pushing in this bot side and the mid lane. So they are set up in a pretty good position to go for this as a great hook comes in from Jeppe. No flash onto Willy Wonka as he goes in for a quick tether, but not going to find it. Lovely little trade by London, and this should just afford them the Dragon.
Yeah, it should do. Wilhelm's going for a reset, so I don't think we're going to see this one contested here. So real nice use of the lane priority to get this Dragon secured up. And whilst it's not necessarily attacking the lanes like we often say we like to see from the Xin Zhao, starting up early objectives is also a nice trade.
Pretty easy Dragon. Nothing really lost there for that as well. They are just able to shove the waves in, move back, catch the waves as soon as they bounce back, get himself a Dragon. Nice little recall coming in for No Name as well. Got the pickaxe, so he'll be building towards that Walnut Whip. And up in the top lane, it's been pretty quiet. We haven't really looked too much towards that, but it is a Gnar versus an Ornn, so this is kind of the expected here. Rangus now got that level 6 though, so does have that engage ability for the team. Just something they do have to always kind of be a bit worried about if he is able to teleport into the bot lane and pull out the Call of the Forge God. Can just start a fight on a pretty snappy engage. Obviously, with the spellbook at the moment has Ignite, so no teleport available for the moment.
Yeah, a lot of mobility, though, on the London side to deal with some of... well, the only true form of hard engage they actually have. So, could be very tough for Rangus as time goes on. But again, we're talking about the scaling aspects here of Lucent composition. Hex Flash attempted.
Ooh, nice little condemn, but not really too much to follow up. Oh, No Name! Just finding himself a juicy first blood onto Wilhelm with the invade, and we'll be able to take away some of this topside jungle camps and get the blue buff out of Beely as well. Lovely.
Yeah, all of the pressure from the solo lanes of London starting to bleed into the jungle a bit. You can see with that invade, Axe did pick himself up an assist, so I imagine it was initially sort of just him scouting out. No Name comes in as well and just sweeps up. Wilhelm, even with the flash, just isn't able to escape this sticking power that Xin Zhao kind of just has in his kit. He's got the slow from the W. Of course, the gap closer. And Volibear, not the best at running away from champions either.
Not at all.
Forge God.
Aka's in trouble, goes for the hop, able to jump away from the call of the Forge God and looking to get some pressure in the mid lane. I'd like to see them try and turn this pressure into a Rift Herald, but I guess with Aka's being chunked out, they might not be able to actually contest that quite as freely as they preferred to have originally. As Jeppy's coming in with the hook, lands it onto Nice Guy Dom. They've got the chains to follow. Beely lands the second chain. Shockwave's there, but Dom's ignited. That is a kill for Jeppe. Nice and easy.
Yeah. Nice Guy Dom just doesn't really... He's got no business being there right then. I'll put it that way. Wilhelm's on the opposite side of the map. Obviously, you did see Willy Wonka walk in basically on the crime scene. Just didn't need to be walking in the river at that moment in time. Just wait until you've got numbers. Realistically is the name, but no name up in the top side. There's no ultimate from Rengus, does have flash. That's a long way back to the tower.
Yeah, he's going to be slowed down by the boomerang. The 3-point strike going to be enough to knock him up, as actually Rengus does flash away, but they stick to him a little bit more. But the Crescent Slight by No Name, not enough to finish him up. That's the ultimate down by No Name for the flash from Rengus.
Yeah. As No Name didn't actually commit the ultimate straight away. It does, I believe, current HP damage. So the earlier that you use it, the more damage you get out of it. As another Death Sentence.
Beautiful hook underneath the tower. Willy Wonka flashes as soon as he gets it back off cooldown, pretty much. Really, really on point here from Jeppe on the hooks, and it is starting to now get a little bit problematic, the bot lane. Not the problem zone at the moment, even with this kind of damage and these summoner spells being burnt, but we do look at the gold right now, and it is in favor of London. See where that gold is currently sitting. 300 gold in the mid lane, 300 gold in the jungle, and then about 600, sorry, not 600, 800 gold in the top lane. Masses. I am struggling with maths today right now, but got there in the end. So they are slowly accruing a bit of a gold lead.
Yeah.
We'll see what they can do with that. They've been able to secure themselves an Ocean Dragon, but this Rift Herald still stands for the moment. They've got a little bit more time till the plates come in. As Beely jumps in with the chains, Sigil of Malice already burnt, and Nice Guy Dom just loses half his health to Beely.
Yeah, nice little trade, and Pepe, any Spring Watchers will recall his Thresh from last split, and Nautilus as well even, where he just wouldn't miss hooks quite simply. Now, Nice Guy Dom being eyed up because he doesn't have flash, does have Rengus in the area, and Wilhelm is actually also right here, so
good chains.
Yeah, this develop.
Ooh. Slow comes in from Rengus, and that's actually enough to save the day. Jeppe now flashes away, goes to the hook, lands it onto the bear, goes for the flayback, shockwave onto 2. Coming in as they get the knock up from Rengus, as No Name has to dash away to safety with the audacious charge. Able to just about jump out there.
Yeah, real nice. I mean, No Name mechanically gets himself out, and Pepe has to blow the flash. Almost returns the kill onto Wilhelm initially, but you can see back at full health. Ultimate also gave him a bit of HP value as Aka's deciding what he wants to do. Just being a nuisance, stopping Rengus from getting to this wave as best he can.
Yeah, he's been a real nuisance right now.
Happy Bee.
Rengus gives him the happy bee. He's not a happy bee. Interestingly enough, Lucent are going to be the first ones onto this dragon. This will be their first one as Jeppe spots them out, throws down the lantern, trying to buy a bit of time for Mankey to come in, but Mankey doesn't want to jump over the wall into that, but Beely's coming in. Wilhelm smites to get the health back. Mankey, killer instincts into the fight, and that is 2 picked up on London already. A double onto their jungler. As Billy Bonker just about to able to survive the onslaught, and London will secure their 2nd dragon of the game.
Yeah, exactly, and I mean, you kind of understand the thought process here for Lucent. They've got the numbers initially, but the collapse comes in from London, and just quite frankly, even though the IM differential isn't really anything to talk about at the moment in the game, it's just the strength of the champions at the time in this game. Enough CC comes down onto the critical members. Wilhelm bursted out is pretty much the important thing to secure that dragon. So 2 now in the name of London as
that was a bit of an interesting part. I mean, he's got no friends. He has got a hook, but he will lose his life as Wilhelm will secure this kill. Actually, they're going to give it to Billy Bonker.
Yeah.
Really nice for Lucent to be able to pick that up.
Yeah, should have just died to Wilhelm. That's now a free kill going into the pocket of Vayne.
You can see the Gore Drinker now finished up for No Name. Still got that Walnut Whip onto Akers. And No Name's still a very strong person. He's been sticking his head in coconut. He's got a bounty on his head. That's Willy Wonka. Gonna get chained.
Shane. He's gone.
He's dead. Yeah, he's just straight up dead. Do you know, I didn't play that because I was annoyed you didn't laugh at my joke. I was throwing a tantrum, Jamada.
Look, I apologize. I was reading production chat. All right. He was talking. Sometimes I don't have to listen to Jake. All right. Like,
sometimes I make good jokes. Oh, hello. No.
About one in every 7 or 8. I think you get a good one off. The other times I just wonder why I'm here.
Well, there's the Rift Herald secured. Plates are actually falling off fairly soon, so not sure about this one, as No Name might find himself in a bit of trouble. The tether's on, has got that Crescent Slash to buy a bit of space, but he is already rooted. He is already low, trying to survive everything as he flashes over the wall. Billy Bonker's also low. Here comes Beely. No Name able to find the kill as Wilhelm has to jump over the wall to safety, but London continue their onslaught. Akers gets chunked out, and Wilhelm about to time out on his ultimate as they just jump in and finish him up. London securing a couple of kills, and they'll get this tower.
Yeah, it looked potentially a bit disastrous for No Name initially, but he's able to flash out after using the Crescent Garden. 2 quick kills picked up here for London, even the topside tower as well of the collapse. And again, it's just London moving numbers up to plays. Even if they initially don't have numbers advantage, they just don't die quick enough for it to even really matter. You see the Gore Drinker heal come out, flashes away from the Lantern, but honestly, I don't think it matters at the end of the day. See, Beely finally comes in, doesn't quite hit the chains, but they can just play it patiently. Yes, the wave is dying, but they don't really have much threat to worry about. Wilhelm does have flash, but I just don't think he elects to use it. Definitely making the right call there, in my opinion.
Sorry, we're in a replay, but I was watching the live feed, and Beely gets the nice little trade off onto Nice Go Dom. He's doing some significant damage right now on this little block. 2-0 and 3. We're 15 minutes into the game. The gold lead is still 3,000, but it definitely feels like it is more than that. There's a 4-0 Jin Zhao on No Name right now. Beely 2-0-3 on the LeBlanc, having an absolutely stellar game. You got the Kraken Slayer finished up onto Mankey, while Billy Bonker still working towards his Mythic, working towards his first item down in that department. Double Dragons as well onto London. They're closing in on their 3rd Dragon, 1 minute 30 until that comes up. And that's where we're going to see the action break out.
Yeah, normally 3rd Dragons, we talk about it every single day on the broadcast. They will typically tell the story or give off the tone of the remainder of the game. But this could be one of the exceptions to the rules, depending on how this game is navigated, because there is such a, in my opinion, genuine scaling difference here between both of these teams. You've got an Enchanter in the bottom lane, you've got Orianna in the mid lane, obviously Vayne, and of course Ornn on the top side. Whereas on the opposite side, you're working with LeBlanc, Xin Zhao. And even to get a lot of value out of him in the late game, you've got to be zoning off multiple members in that mega form. So there's a lot to work on as the game goes on for London, but for now they hold the lead pretty comfortably. But again, it's about pushing forward with that lead, rolling in more of these items and just pushing the advantage.
Yeah, I think if you're prior to with this lead, put yourself in a comfortable position as double sigil, double chains land, shockwave, whipped, and a great hook by Jeppe, follows Nice Guy Dom. No Name's going to come in and secure the kill. Jeppe will get locked down by Willy Wonka, but Jeppe will be able to survive this one.
Yeah, real nice death sentence there from Jeppe to look at that kill. Rift Herald being used right now. Dragon isn't up for another 15 seconds, but with Orianna dead, looking to at least get a nice chunk out of this tower. Or about 1,500 health left on it. And with Nice Guy Dom being dead, there's no teleport available, so you expect London just pick up this dragon pretty much for free. I think Lucent, the responsible thing would be to not contest the dragon.
And while they are, it's not a game-breaking dragon. Cloud Soul won't make or break this game. It's not a bad dragon. London aren't going to sneer at it. They're not going to turn their head at it. You've got the Killer Instinct giving Mankey a bunch of movement speed once he jumps into the enemy team. No Name obviously uses the Crescent Slash, gets a bunch of movement speed. These champions aren't going to really be too upset by getting a bit of bonus movement speed and being able to use their ult a little bit more frequently.
No, definitely not. It's just one of those things. We've had Clouds a lot recently, specifically in our casts. I don't know why. UKLC has been cursed.
It's actually just the UKLC dragon at this point, isn't it? It's
like the representative of the elemental dragons in the UKLC. But Yeah, it's pretty okay. It's one of those dragons where it's not an infernal, right? At the end of the day, it's not the nice scaling stats of an infernal, and obviously the mountain and the oceans you don't necessarily feel until you hit a soul of either of those dragons respectively. But clouds, they can feel nice, and they can kind of have more value than expected, especially if you're skirmishing constantly.
Yeah,
and trying to use your abilities, your ultimate specifically, obviously off cooldown. And in a game like this, I think, especially you talk about LeBlanc has to go in against all this poke, having that ultimate come up, even if it's that 10% of the Cloud Dragon earlier, it can make all the difference in being able to cast another ability and killing somebody and not being able to do that.
Jeppe just trolling there as he takes the Gromp from No Name. But the charge is coming in. It looks like they'll go for the fight. Double chains land in. Beely gets a bunch of damage off, but not enough to find the kill. It does look like London are able to escape Lucent's collapse as the box is enough to zone them. And now they might be looking for a little something. Mankey got the Kraken Slayer in the inventory. It's pretty strong right now. They are just going to call it there.
Nothing more to chase for. Mankey basically in the mid lane, chopping out a wave the entirety of that play. There's No Name face checking, no ultimate this time. Oh, look at them. Not quite
just about able to dodge. Oh, great hook comes in from Jeppe. A flay onto the back as Mankey comes forward. Wilhelm will lose his life, and Beely takes down Billy Bonker. Down they go. 3 members of Lucent full.
Yeah, 3 members, not quite the Baron timer up right now, and it looks like we're on pace for another stompy game. Here is London, honestly, doing what they have to do with these champions. They know they've got all the agency in the world. Nice guy. Dom hasn't even hit 1 item yet. There isn't really enough engage tools for Lucent to even play around with on the side lane. They don't really have a strong side of the map, and that's a bit of an issue. Akaz is winning out on the side lane where realistically he could potentially be on the weak side, though it's a Gnar into an Ornn, so it's hard to even argue that. And everywhere else, London just have consistent pressure, even if it's not in vision. It's just about Fog of War, realistically, in the sense of hell, you don't even need Fog of War. It's been Lucent kind of checking in to London.
You don't need Fog of War when you're 7,000 gold up as well. They can just turn these picks every time it almost breaks out. I mean, 2 items now on Beely. He's got the Void Staff. He's got the Ludens. As Jeppe will be looking for Willy Wonka. Catches him with a hook. They get the Lantern. No Name comes in. And that is 1 dead Karma. A little bit more from Mankey just to finish it up. As the knockout comes in from Rengus. The Call of the Forge God's been thrown down. And the bop up will land onto 2. But Akka's chasing forward. A double kill secured for Mankey already. Billy Bonker loses his life as Beely joins into the fray with the chains. And that is the sigil pop to secure a rampage. 3 members of Lucent go down to London.
Yeah, I think that could have been the penultimate nail in the coffin. I think the Baron here is going to be the straw that broke the camel's back for Lucent, because I do not believe they're going to be able to hold on to a siege with all of the gold that London have in their pockets on top of the Baron buff. They just don't have the wave clear once the Baron minions will eventually start to come in. So nice pick by Jeppe, and I mean, he's been on fire this game with a Thresh, and it's why you often see it banned away from him. Anybody that watched Spring knows this man is a machine with the death sentences. And look at this. Right on to Willy Wonka. Drops the Lantern for No Name. No Name actually misses the Wind Becomes Lightning, but at the end of the day, you get the knock-up for Mankey to secure the kill. And look at all of the damage blocked here by the Xin Zhao Ornn as well. The Ornn ult doesn't actually damage it. Oh, I don't think it damages him. I think he might have just been in range, but Vayne was trying to auto-attack him the whole time, but can't really deal any damage. And Wilhelm wasn't really sure if he wanted to commit to this fight, so he just didn't. Indecision cost him his life, but I don't think it would have made a difference between winning or losing that fight.
It's a tricky situation for Lucent there. Kind of just getting caught out from the Fog of War as Beely not really got any kill pressure on Rengus right now. Although they're going to try for it. Jeppe, you need to start missing hooks, man. Otherwise, we're going to think you're botting a little bit. Rengus chunked out, knocked up, and he is just going to accept his demise. Beely will secure his 5th kill of the game. London are covered in these bounties now.
Yeah,
Every single member has a bounty on their head.
Yeah, London got the bounty hunters out looking for him, but there's no, what's his name? No Wolf Dog. I think that's the dude from that show.
What show?
He's got, you know, the bounty hunter show. The guy with the long, ridiculous blonde hair. He's got a really big wife as well, and they both go around bounty hunting.
The one South Park did the thing of.
Probably.
When he was a hall monitor. Yeah.
It sounds very much like a South Park thing to do.
It's absolutely a South Park thing. There's the gold graph, by the way. It's been a steady climb up.
Have Lucent even had a gold lead?
No, not at all. Not a single moment in this game, actually.
It just looks like it's been like up and down between, you know, waves being collected, and that was about it until the mid to early game. Rengus, yeah.
Rengus is going for Beely pretty hard here, but Beely almost able to solo kill him, gets himself his 6th kill. This is a beautiful performance on the LeBlanc. And we're in 23 minutes in. They've got this soul. They've got Elder Dragon spawning up in 6 minutes time. They got Baron spawning up in 3 minutes time. I mean, they got Baron on them. I don't know why I'm saying they got Baron coming up. They've got Baron for 40 seconds
nice
more.
Hook.
As a great hook comes in. Beely is honestly just piloting this little LeBlanc and making it look so easy. Jeppe finally misses the hook.
Might be the first of the game. Honestly, we need to get him tested after this because I don't know. Every time I see him on Thresh, I have to ask, what's he eating for breakfast?
5,600 damage out of him.
In solo queue. Yeah, he's got...
It's all hooks.
He's got more damage than Nice Guy Dom.
Oh my... Wait, really? I didn't see that.
Yeah. Well, I think it speaks to the level of, or the lack of agency available to Lucent. They might try and pull the trigger here, but I mean, if they do, they're probably just going to die.
Well, they do lock down one for the moment. The Gnar comes back, and that is going to be a pretty big one. Shutdown picked up for Billy Bonker, who's starting to do a fair amount of damage as the hook goes wide, and Billy might be feeling himself a little bit more. The shielding, the healing comes in, but the Gnar against the wall. They're all locked down. Billy gets the kill. The shockwave is stopwatched, and Mankey is unleashed onto the backline. Willy Wonka, the only one left standing, as the tether will not save him from the onslaught. A double kill for Mankey. And like that, London have done it. They find the ace, and they're going to get the base.
Yeah, and I mean, we spoke about coming into this game, we were hoping for Lucent's sake this would be a team that they could actually contest, just given off recent form, but finally we're seeing spring signs of life from London. Obviously, yes, there's a lot of different members on this team. There's no Den Boxnade to play towards, but they finally pulled out a very, very decisive win here against Rengus and the rest of Lucent here as they take down Lucent and they pick up their second win as a split.
Really great game there from the side of London. Every lane played on fire, and this is what we're saying. The kind of the scaling comps can be a little bit bait. You can kind of fall into going, all right, we just 30 minutes onwards, we'll win the game. But that was a 25-minute game. Every lane had a shutdown, even the support. Everyone was on complete fire. It was a beautiful game from London, and they are looking like a real competitor to take the UKLC.
I mean, yeah, it's still a lot to go. I think obviously it's more about securing playoffs at the end of the day. I think last split, it was just more indicative of Resolve being present in the league and having 40, just going undefeated. Because I don't think we've had a team finish first in the regular split over the last couple of splits and then actually win.
True. Yeah. No, you might be right.
Win playoffs. I'd have to double check that. Outside of Resolve, out of the last like sort of 3-ish or 2 previous splits before we had Resolve in it.
But I mean, the split before we had the NLC, when that was the primary league, XL were dominant in the season and then lost to Fnatic. So it has been a long time, actually. Anyway, it's time for us to throw to a break. When we're back, we'll be back with a interview with Beely. So watch some ads and we'll see you in a moment.